My friends, I want to speak to you today about something that grips the hearts of many, something that paralyzes dreams before they even begin: fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of the future, fear of what lies ahead. It's a silent enemy that whispers doubt into your soul, that makes you hesitate when you should move forward, that convinces you to stay where it's safe when you were meant to rise. There comes a time in every person's life when they stand at the edge of the unknown, when they look ahead and see nothing but uncertainty. Maybe you're at that moment right now. Maybe you're facing a decision, an opportunity, a change that feels too big, too overwhelming, too impossible. Maybe you're afraid of failure, afraid of rejection, afraid that the step ahead might be the wrong one. But let me tell you something. Fear is a liar. Fear magnifies what is even there. Fear makes the future seem darker than it is. And if you let it, fear will keep you chained to a life you were never meant to live. You weren't created to live in fear. You weren't created to shrink back in the face of uncertainty. You were created for boldness, for courage, for something greater than the life that fear wants to keep you trapped in. The greatest victories in history didn't come from people who had all the answers, who knew exactly how everything would work out. No, they came from people who stepped forward despite the uncertainty, despite the risk, despite the fact that they had no guarantee. Look at the stories of those who have changed the world. They didn't have a roadmap. They didn't have a clear path. They didn't have a promise that everything would work out exactly as they hoped. But they had faith, they had determination, and they had a willingness to take the next step even when they couldn't see the whole journey. And because they did, history remembers them. The truth is, you don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to have all the answers before you take action. What you need is the courage to take one step, and then another, and then another. You need the faith to believe that what's ahead is not meant to destroy you, but to strengthen you. You need the determination to move forward, even when fear tells you to stand still. Some of you are at a crossroads right now. You're facing a new season, a new challenge, a new opportunity. And fear is whispering that you're not ready, that you're not capable, that you'll never make it. But I'm here to tell you that fear is wrong. The greatest breakthroughs in your life will come when you push past fear. The greatest moments of growth will come when you step forward into the unknown. The greatest version of yourself is waiting for you on the other side of fear. So don't let fear control your future. Don't let doubt hold you back. Don't let uncertainty keep you stuck, because what's ahead of you is greater than what's behind you. The best is yet to come, and you were made for more than a life ruled by fear. Step forward, take the leap, and don't be afraid of what's next. Fear is a liar. It is the voice that whispers in the darkness, the shadow that grows larger than reality, and the weight that holds people back from stepping into their full potential. It is subtle, deceptive, and persistent. It does not always come in loud shouts of terror, but often in quiet doubts, in lingering hesitations, in that deep feeling that something will go wrong. It disguises itself as caution, as wisdom, as logic, but at its core, it is nothing more than a thief. Fear steals dreams, opportunities, and progress. It robs people of the life they were meant to live, the victories they were meant to claim, the growth they were meant to experience. It keeps them locked in cycles of hesitation, always waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, the perfect reassurance that will never come. Fear magnifies what isn't even real. It makes small obstacles look like mountains and turns uncertainties into guarantees of failure. It takes the unknown and paints it as a disaster waiting to happen. The human mind is powerful, capable of creating realities before they even exist. And fear takes advantage of that. It plants false images, worst-case scenarios, visions of defeat, and convinces people that they're not ready, not capable, not enough. It convinces them that failure is inevitable, that rejection is unbearable, that trying is not worth the risk, and so they remain stuck, watching opportunities pass them by, watching others move forward while they stay in place. Fear keeps people from taking the first step. It tells them that they need more time, more preparation, more certainty. It whispers that they should wait until they feel confident, until the path is clear, until they have everything they need. But that day never comes. Confidence does not come before action. It comes as a result of it. The path does not become clear until the first step is taken. The resources, the knowledge, the abilities, these things are built along the way, not before the journey begins. Those who wait for the perfect moment will wait forever. Those who listen to fear will always find another excuse, another reason to delay, another justification for why now is not the right time. Fear creates imaginary limitations. It makes people believe they are incapable of things they have never even tried. It convinces them that they do not have what it takes, even though they have never tested their limits. The greatest deception of fear is that it makes people live as if they are powerless, when in reality they are capable of far more than they realize. The body is stronger than the mind allows it to believe, the spirit is more resilient than it seems, and the heart has the ability to endure more than it thinks possible. But fear keeps people from discovering that strength. It keeps them from pushing past their perceived limits, from taking risks, from proving to themselves that they are greater than their fears. Fear is not real in the way people think it is. It has no actual substance, no physical power, no ability to stop anyone from doing anything. It exists only in the mind, in perception, in belief. It only has as much control as a person allows it to have. The moment someone decides to act in spite of fear, to move forward even while they feel afraid, fear loses its grip. It begins to fade. It shrinks in the face of courage. It becomes powerless when someone refuses to listen to it. The most successful, the most accomplished, the most fulfilled people in history were not people who never felt fear. They were people who refused to let it control them. They felt it, but they moved forward anyway. They doubted, but they acted regardless. They did not allow fear to dictate their choices, to determine their future, to rob them of the life they were meant to live. Fear uses failure as a weapon. It reminds people of every past mistake, every moment of embarrassment, every time they fell short. It takes those moments and turns them into chains, making people believe that their past defines them, that their failures are proof they should not try again. But failure is not the enemy, fear is. Failure is a teacher, a lesson, a necessary part of growth. Every great success is built on a foundation of failures. Every strong person has scars from battles they have fought and lost. But they kept going. They did not allow their failures to define them. They did not allow fear to use their past as a reason to stop reaching for their future. Fear thrives in inaction. The longer a person waits, the stronger fear becomes. The more time spent thinking instead of doing, hesitating instead of moving, the more power fear gains. It feeds on delay, on doubt, on every second that passes without action. But the moment a decision is made, the moment action is taken, fear begins to weaken. It cannot survive in movement. It cannot withstand persistence. It loses its grip the moment a person refuses to give in to it. Fear does not announce itself. It does not always come with trembling hands or a racing heart. Sometimes it disguises itself as logic, convincing people that they are being wise by playing it safe. It pretends to be reason, persuading people to stay where they are, to avoid risk, to never step beyond what is comfortable. But true wisdom knows that comfort is the enemy of progress, that growth only happens outside of the familiar, that safety often comes at the cost of never reaching full potential. Fear isolates. things. It makes people believe they are the only ones struggling, the only ones feeling uncertain, the only ones who doubt themselves. It convinces them that everyone else has it figured out, that others do not struggle the way they do, that they are uniquely unqualified. But fear lies. Every person who has ever done something great has felt afraid. Every leader, every innovator, every champion has faced moments of uncertainty. The difference is they did not let it stop them. They recognized that fear is part of the journey, but it does not have to control the destination. Fear keeps people small. It convinces them to settle for less than they are capable of, to live beneath their potential, to stay within the limits of what is comfortable. It makes them believe they are protecting themselves, but in reality they are only limiting themselves. The greatest dreams, the greatest victories, the greatest achievements are on the other side of fear. They are waiting for those who are willing to push past it, to move forward despite it. Fear does not have to win. It does not have to determine the course of a person's life. It does not have to be the final voice in their decisions. The choice is always there, to give in or to rise above, to hesitate or to act, to live in fear or to step forward in courage. Fear will always be present, but it does not have to be in control. It does not have to hold the power. It does not have to dictate the future. The greatest victories, the greatest breakthroughs, the greatest moments of transformation come when fear is faced and overcome. And the only way to overcome fear is to move forward in spite of it. Fear of the unknown is one of the greatest obstacles to progress. It grips the hearts of many, paralyzing them with thoughts of uncertainty, doubt, and hesitation. It convinces people that what lies ahead is too unpredictable, too risky, too dangerous to step into. It whispers that staying where it is safe is better than stepping into the unknown. But the unknown is not the enemy. It is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced. It is the place where new opportunities arise, where growth happens, where transformation takes place. Every great achievement, every great breakthrough, every great discovery was made by those who dared to step into what they did not yet understand. People often seek comfort in what is familiar. They hold on to routines, habits, and environments that feel safe because stepping into something new requires faith. The unknown presents questions that do not always have immediate answers. It challenges people to trust in something beyond their sight, to believe in possibilities that have not yet materialized. But history has shown time and time again that those who remain in their comfort zones never experience the fullness of what life has to offer. They never see what they are truly capable of because they never allow themselves to be tested. They never push beyond their limits because they are afraid of what might happen if they failed. Fear of the unknown keeps people in bondage. It makes them prisoners of their own thoughts, held back not by any real danger, but by the fear of what could go wrong. It keeps them from taking risks that could lead to new beginnings. It convinces them that uncertainty means disaster, that stepping forward means stepping into failure. But uncertainty does not mean destruction. It means possibility. It means adventure. It means that anything can happen, including success, breakthrough, and transformation. The unknown is where destinies are shaped, where callings are answered, where people discover strengths they never knew they had. The greatest advancements in history came from those who dared to step into the unknown. The greatest leaders, the greatest innovators, the greatest visionaries, all of them faced moments when they did not know what was ahead. They did not have every answer, every detail, every guarantee, but they moved forward anyway. They did not let fear stop them. They did not allow uncertainty to hold them back. They trusted that what was ahead was worth pursuing, even if they did not fully understand it. Their courage to step into the unknown changed the course of history. The unknown is where character is tested. It is where people learn to rely on something greater than themselves. It is where they develop resilience, perseverance, and strength. It is where they learn that they are capable of more than they ever imagined. Staying in the familiar does not build strength. Avoiding the unknown does not create growth. It is only by stepping out, by taking risks, by facing the uncertainty ahead that people become who they were meant to be. Fear of the unknown blinds people to opportunities. It makes them see only the risks, never the rewards. It convinces them to focus on what could go wrong instead of what could go right. It keeps them from taking steps that could lead to new beginnings, to new breakthroughs, to new blessings. Many people have missed out on life-changing opportunities simply because they were too afraid to step forward. They allowed fear to convince them that the unknown was too dangerous, too uncertain, too risky. But in doing so, they also missed out on the possibilities, the blessings, the growth that awaited them on the other side. Stepping into the unknown requires trust. It requires the belief that even though the path ahead is not fully clear, there is something greater leading the way. It requires faith that what is ahead is not meant to destroy, but to develop, not meant to break, but to build. It requires an understanding that the unknown is not a place of destruction, but a place of transformation. The most powerful moments in life happen when people let go of fear and embrace the uncertainty ahead. Fear of the unknown causes hesitation. It keeps people in a cycle of indecision, always waiting for more clarity, for more certainty, for a perfect sign that will never come. It convinces them that they are not ready, that they need more preparation, that they should wait just a little longer before taking the next step. But waiting does not remove fear. It does not bring more clarity. It only strengthens the chains that keep people bound. The longer someone waits, the harder it becomes to move forward. The longer fear is entertained, the more powerful it becomes. The unknown is not a place of destruction, but a place of discovery. It is where new experiences happen, where new doors open, where new paths are revealed. It is where people find the strength they never knew they had, the courage they never knew existed, the faith they never thought was possible. Every person who has ever accomplished something great had to step into the unknown at some point. They had to leave behind the safety of the familiar, the comfort of certainty, the security of what they knew. They had to take a step of faith, not knowing exactly where it would lead, but believing that it was worth taking. Fear of the unknown makes people live small lives. It keeps them from reaching for bigger dreams, from pursuing greater callings, from stepping into the fullness of their purpose. It convinces them that playing it safe is the best option, that staying where they are is better than risking failure. But a life lived in fear is a life half-lived. A life controlled by fear is a life that never reaches its full potential. The most fulfilling, most impactful, most meaningful lives are lived by those who refuse to let fear dictate their decisions. People often wait for fear to disappear before they move forward. They believe that once they feel ready, once the fear goes away, then they will take action. But fear does not disappear on its own. It is not something that fades with time. It is something that must be confronted, something that must be overcome. The only way to silence fear is to move forward despite it. The only way to conquer the unknown is to step into it. Waiting does not remove the fear. It only strengthens its grip. But action weakens fear. Movement silences its voice. Stepping forward breaks its power. Fear of the unknown is rooted in the desire for control. People want to know what will happen next. They want to be certain of the outcome before they take the first step. But life does not work that way. There will always be uncertainties. There will always be things that cannot be predicted. The choice is not between certainty and uncertainty, but between fear and faith. Those who choose fear will remain stuck, always waiting, always hesitating. But those who choose faith will move forward, even when the path is unclear. They will take the step even when they do not know what is ahead. They will trust that what lies ahead is not meant to harm them, but to shape them. to strengthen them, to lead them into something greater. The unknown is not to be feared but embraced. It is where possibilities are endless, where growth is inevitable, where transformation happens. It is where people become who they were always meant to be. Those who refuse to let fear hold them back, who step forward with faith, who embrace the uncertainty ahead, they are the ones who experience the greatest victories, the deepest fulfillment, the most incredible breakthroughs. They are the ones who discover that the unknown was never something to fear, but something to embrace. Fear is a force that has kept people bound for generations. It is the invisible chain that holds back dreams, the unseen weight that burdens hearts, and the silent thief that steals purpose. It does not come with great warning signs, nor does it always announce itself with trembling hands or racing thoughts. Instead, it disguises itself as caution, as logic, as wisdom, convincing people that staying still is safer than moving forward. It speaks in whispers of doubt, in questions of uncertainty, in reminders of past failures. It keeps its grip through hesitation, through delay, through the endless cycle of what-ifs that prevent action. Fear thrives where action ceases. It grows stronger when steps are not taken, when decisions are put off, when risks are avoided. It feeds on inaction, making every passing moment feel heavier, every step forward seem more impossible. The longer it is entertained, the more powerful it becomes. But fear is not an unshakable force. It has no real power other than the power that is given to it. It cannot control a person who refuses to bow to it. It cannot dictate the future of someone who chooses to move forward despite it. The greatest lie of fear is that it must be obeyed, that it must be listened to, that it must be acknowledged before anything can change. The truth is, fear only has power when it is allowed to stay. The moment a person decides to take action, despite the fear, its grip begins to weaken. Life is not meant to be lived in hesitation. It is not meant to be spent waiting for the perfect conditions, the perfect plan, the perfect assurance that everything will work out. Those who wait for fear to subside before they act will wait forever. Fear is not something that disappears. It is something that is conquered. It is not lead on its own. It is driven out by movement, by courage, by the decision to step forward despite uncertainty. The only way to silence fear is to take action in the face of it. The only way to break free from its chains is to move even while it whispers its doubts. The unknown is not a place of destruction, but a place of discovery. It is where possibilities are endless, where transformation happens, where new beginnings are born. It is where strength is developed, where resilience is built, where faith is tested and strengthened. Those who fear the unknown never step into the fullness of their purpose. They never see what they are truly capable of because they never allow themselves to be tested. They remain trapped in the safety of the familiar, never realizing that the greatest victories in life require stepping beyond what is comfortable. Fear convinces people that failure is the worst possible outcome. It makes them believe that stumbling, making mistakes, or facing setbacks is something to be avoided at all costs. But failure is not the enemy. Failure is not a sign to turn back, but a sign to press forward. Every person who has ever achieved anything worthwhile has faced failure. Every great leader, every successful innovator, every person who has ever changed the world has known the sting of failure, but they refused to let it define them. They did not allow fear to use their past mistakes as an excuse to stop. They understood that failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the journey toward it. Fear magnifies obstacles, making them seem bigger than they really are. It turns small challenges into mountains, makes temporary hardships feel permanent, and distorts reality into something far worse than the truth. It takes moments of uncertainty and stretches them into lifetimes of regret. It makes people believe that they are not strong enough, not capable enough, not ready enough to face what lies ahead. But strength is not something that comes before the challenge. It is something that is developed through it. No one discovers how strong they are by avoiding difficulty. No one realizes their potential by remaining where they are. It is only through stepping into the unknown, through facing the hardships, through walking through the trials, that a person discovers just how much they can endure. The greatest regret in life is not the mistakes made, but the opportunities missed. It is not the failures, but the chances never taken. Looking back, people do not wish they had played it safer. They do not wish they had avoided more risks. They wish they had been bolder, that they had taken the leap, that they had trusted in something greater than their fear. They wish they had stepped forward despite the uncertainty, had moved despite the doubt, had chosen faith over fear. Life is not meant to be spent in the shadows of hesitation, but in the boldness of action. The greatest fulfillment comes from knowing that fear did not win, that it did not dictate the course of life, that it did not rob the opportunities that were waiting on the other side of courage. Fear of the unknown is not an excuse to stay still. It is not a reason to live a small life. It is not something that should have the power to define a person's future. The greatest callings, the greatest victories, the greatest moments of destiny are waiting on the other side of fear. They are waiting for those who are willing to push past hesitation, to step beyond their comfort zone, to believe that what is ahead is greater than what is behind. The unknown is not something to be feared. It is something to be embraced. It is where the next chapter of life begins, where new doors open, where transformation takes place. It is where fear is defeated, where courage is born, where faith becomes action. The choice is always there, to stay in fear or to step forward in faith, to remain in hesitation or to take bold action, to let fear dictate the course of life or to rise above it. The unknown will always be present. Uncertainty will always exist. But fear does not have to be in control. It does not have to hold the power. It does not have to be the voice that determines the future. The greatest victories, the greatest breakthroughs, the greatest moments of transformation come when fear is faced and overcome. And the only way to overcome fear is to move forward in spite of it. The time to act is now. The time to break free from fear is today. Fear has had its time, but its hold does not have to last. It is time to step forward. It is time to choose faith over fear. It is time to embrace the unknown and step into the future with boldness. The greatest moments of life are waiting, and the only thing standing in the way is fear. But fear does not have to win. The choice is yours. Step forward, move, live boldly. The future is waiting.